But this conference was put on by Cynthia Briganti. So this was an advanced sales and closing type of training. It was really, really good. And what I love about Cynthia is she's been there, she's done that, and she knows how to maximize your business. And she actually teaches very different than things that a lot of people are teaching. So I always say, just copy what the successful people are doing and be careful who you're listening to.
Yeah.
So it was really just a powerful time. It was a smaller event. She's going to have another event coming up soon. And I really do encourage people, if you really want to take your business up to the next level, to get there. It's very powerful.
Yeah. Interesting. What does she charge for that, or what?
Yes, there was a fee because, we rent the conference room, there was meals, all that was included.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely well worth it. And, in our company, there's a lot of different events that go on, and you have to, kind of, catch things when you can. You can't feel like you have to go to everything. But what I do love about Cynthia is she just operates at such a higher level. And she just makes things so simple and easy. And, I think we complicate things. And I know, like me as a teacher, like that's my personality. Like I want to teach. And when you're in sales, you can talk too much. Like you can kind of like spew all this knowledge on everyone. And that's not necessarily going to help you to get people to take action. And so this was really about, because if people, you and I, we feel like it's our moral obligation for people to have this water. Like we know how life transforming it is, but if they're not buying it, we're not helping them. So, learning the sales side is so important. And I think that was my biggest hindrance, even getting into the business, was I knew the product inside out. I love the science. I could study that day and night. But in sales, like if you read a good sales book, like A Love Seller Be Sold by Grant Cardone, like he's like 10% is product, 90% is sales. Get your sales down.
Yeah.
And keep it simple, keep it simple, stupid, like KISS, keep it simple. Like, and my husband, like he's in another industry in sales, and he'll say the same thing. And he's like, Sharon, you talk too much. Like, just do what Cynthia does. Keep it simple. And, it's simple, but profound,
Yeah. Well, like Sam Tran's always saying, the genius is in the simplicity.
Right.
And yeah, we all have a tendency to. It's kind of funny. I went golfing yesterday with, we often golf on Sundays, and one of my buddies came golfing yesterday, and I had this putt lined up, and I putted it, and I hit it short. Had it like perfectly lined up for sure. It would have been a par putt, but I hit it short. And my buddy all sarcastically goes, "Yeah, they make these testosterone supplements, And I, of course, pop up with, I got the best testosterone supplement in the world right here in this bottle, And
That's
my buddy
right.
goes, "Oh, we should start doing an over and under every time we golf. How many times Jay's going to bring up Kong's water,
Yeah, I have some stories about that. I'm not going to go into that now, but it helps with a lot of stuff. I mean, you give the body what it needs, it will.
Yeah, it's hard to, when you're so passionate about something that's so, because the thing is, Coach, is it's not like we're all passionate about something that doesn't matter really.
Right.
In the grand scheme of things, online marketing or Forex trading or Bitcoin or whatever, in the real grand scheme of things, that stuff really doesn't even matter that much. I mean, we all need money, of course. We're all trying to make money, and like the old saying goes, that money doesn't matter until you don't have any of it. And then all of a sudden it matters a great deal.
Right.
And so where we have something that simply always matters, because when in the grand scheme of things, without your health, you have nothing. You can have, like,
Right.
What was the thing that Steve Jobs recently put up that's been circling around? You've probably seen it, where he's on his deathbed, dying of cancer, and he's telling everybody that they need to, they need to pay attention to the important things, right? you
Yeah.
know? And the important things were not money.
Right.
And, so it's so interesting. My buddy, the same one who said, let's do the over and under, he said, I'm just happy you found something that makes you happy. And I'm like, well, I'm happy that I found something that I can change the world with, that literally every
Amen.
single person on this planet, every living being, they need what we have. So we've got something really super special. And, I wanted to talk about your program, with your book here today. I want to jump into that just a little bit, but I was wondering
Okay.
if you might share with us just maybe a little golden nugget or something, because we are all struggling to keep it simple, especially those of us who understand really the science behind this stuff, how it works, why it works. Um, and it's a big struggle to keep it simple. And so you just went through that big training down there with Cynthia, and the whole mindset of that was keep it simple. What is there anything that you could drop on us today that might, that maybe was like the biggest thing that you brought out of it, where you were like, oh man, yeah, if I could just do that, then that's really going to explode things. That's going to help me a tremendous amount. That's going to help other people. Is there something like that you took away from it, that you're like, yeah, I got to share this with my team. I got to share this with the family, because this right here, this is going to really help people. Anything like that you wouldn't mind dropping on us today?
Oh, sure. Well, Cynthia, she operates at a whole nother level. Like, we think things have to be so complicated. We think, standard, our company is really not network marketing. And I hate to even use that word, because it's so different than that. But in standard network marketing, you need to have 5 to 7 exposures. Like, you need to do all this before people, and you just watch her, and she just walks up to people and they say yes. She'll, when we were in Las Vegas, she comes out of the bathroom, oh, Sharon, I just saw a machine in the bathroom. Or we were in the casino, and she said, the person came up and said, well, what are you guys doing here? And she said, well, we're here for the Kangen Water Conference. And she's like, well, what's that about? And so Cynthia said, you go talk to her for a couple minutes. So I talked to her for a couple minutes, and we got up and we left. And Cynthia said, well, did she buy the machine? And I said, what? Like, I just talked to her for a couple minutes. Like, how could she buy? And she's like, no, you go and you get her to buy the machine. She needs this machine. And I said, well, can I watch you? Like, this was last year or whatever. I said, can I watch you? Like, I want to see you in action. She just walks up to her and says, so are you ready to buy this machine? And the lady says, yes, just like that. See, Cynthia operates she teaches her acts prayer. She's a very spiritual person. People get annoyed with her talking about God and talking about spirituality, but really being led to, who are we to talk to? Like, who is open and who is available, and being led in that direction. And then 2, it is that excitement that, stories, facts tell, stories sell. Like, people buy based on emotion. So you're creating emotion, and her emotion and expectation is so high because she so believes in this product. When you 100% believe, and it's just like that excitement, people respond to that. I don't know if you've ever, like, you get a couple sales, like, you're really excited, you start reaching out to people, like, you're emailing, texting, and everybody's emailing you back and they're excited. I've had this, happen to me over and over again. And then you have a day where you're kind of like maybe like your spirits aren't as high. You reach out to people and nobody wants to respond to you, because emotion is powerful, and she explains this as, emotion is a spiritual concept as well. But when we go in with the expectation that the person is going to buy, because one, we believe, I mean, we believe this is our spiritual and moral obligation and duty for this person to have this water. This is life-giving water. This is going to forever change their life. The water, if they want the business, like they deserve to know about this. So she just goes in with the expectation that God wants this person to have this water. So if God wants this person to have this water, then he's going to help them to get it. He's going to help to provide, like, even like she's like, I don't project poverty on them. Like in the back of our minds, a lot of times we think, oh, well, it's expensive. Like they're not going to be able to afford it. Well, we don't realize subconsciously what we project on people. So typically whatever, I mean, Grant Cardone talks about this too, whatever objections we're typically getting, it's really, typically those objections start with us. So she doesn't have money objections. Like she just walks at such a higher level. So those so she overrides those money objections. So, she says, I don't put scarcity and poverty on people. I just assume God wants them to have this, and God's going to provide this money somehow, some way. We have all kinds of different options. And she gets the sale. She's like, at a birthday party, she's like, oh, Sharon, I sold 7 machines. She's on the airplane flying to Asia. Oh, Sharon, I sold 8 machines through Facebook Messenger last night. And so it's just simple, and it's that excitement. And I don't know if there's so many sales trainers, and I love Danny Johnson. And, she said when she got into sales, because, Cynthia's like, my English is not very good. She's like, I have a hard time communicating. So I have to keep things very simple. But like what Danny Johnson said was she got into selling curtains, like draperies and stuff for Sears or maybe JCPenney's or something like that. So they send her off. She went in and she sat down with the person and she goes, ma'am, I am so sorry. Like, this is my first day. Like, I don't even understand how to do all this. And the lady said, honey, that's no problem. We're going to sit down and go through this catalog together. And she ended up selling like $20,000. So then her next appointment was like on a boat. And it was like the same thing. She's like, I've never done an appointment on a boat. And the lady was like, don't worry about it. Let's sit down. And she found that when she kept it simple and not like spewing all this information, that people didn't feel threatened or salesy. But she said, when I got better and I'm spewing all this stuff out, people were like, oh, like, I don't, like, you're forcing this down my throat. And so what I love of like Danny Johnson, like what she says is, she's like, sales is kind of like going fishing. Like you can, like, when you have your fishing rod, right? And you throw the fishing rod out, right, with a worm on it, and the fish comes up and nibbles, right? And then you jerk it back. And then you let go, and then the fish comes up and nibbles again, and it bites. Where we want to go down, grab the fish out of the water, take the worms, and start jamming the worms down the fish's mouth, And so, it's just learning to give like those little nibbles, and in that excitement, that gets people to respond and they don't feel threatened. My husband was telling me a story last night about there's a sales guy. He was working in some retail place or whatever, and same thing. He had just got started, and people would ask him questions, and he would say, I really don't know the answer to that. And he would go and find someone, a management or something, to help him. And his sales went through the roof. He sold more in his first month than people would sell an entire year. But then he said once he became the expert, his sales went way down. So it's something in keeping it simple. I mean, Danny Johnson, she said, even in like recruiting people, like she would get out the piece of paper, even though she'd done this a million times, and read the questions, like keeping it simple, keeping it duplicatable, letting people realize, oh yeah, I can do this too. I can read off of a piece of paper. And I mean, that's really the foundation, is just get that excitement, pique that interest of what interests them. I mean, obviously their hot spot, if they're concerned about, they got cancer that runs in their family, and you're over here talking about this and that and all this stuff. Well, they might not really be listening to you, where it's finding out their hot spot. And, some people, like, your guy on the golf course, he knows you. You know what? You planted that seed and you just keep planting those seeds. But I mean, it is pretty amazing how she just walks up, and she teaches the Acts prayer, and, this, the just believing for the sale. Just, she's already in her mind seen the sale. She sees the person buying. She sees the person so happy drinking the water and it changing their life. And that affects her body. 90% is what body language, right? So if you're already in that expectation that the person is going to buy, and you're already in that expectation that this is going to be such a blessing in their life, it changes how you act and react with the person. Does any of that make sense?
Well, it does, but I can, I know that the things that are going through my brain cell, and, what other people that are here on watching the live feed on the Con family page, I can imagine that they're probably going through this exact same thought process, and that, like for me, I look at this and go, I can't even imagine somebody that's actually more excited about this company, this product, than I am. That has more of that, like, they're going to buy, they need it bad, they're going to get it. And, I always say, Con doesn't cost, he pays. If people
Yep.
actually look at the value of it and see the value, it doesn't even cost at all. This product, when you extrapolate it over its lifespan and, take a look at what it costs to spend one single day in the hospital, this is like the biggest bargain in the history of the world. And
Absolutely.
I just absolutely can't imagine anybody being more excited about this company than I am, because I'm probably too excited about it. Maybe there's a way to be too excited. I guess there probably is, because, like my buddy that said, over and under whatever, he's sitting here complaining about his arthritis in one of his knuckles. And I was like, dude, you really need to be drinking Kong. And he's like, yeah, the cure all for everything, And it's like, I don't know how many times I've told him, no, it's your body that's the cure, brother. And, but I just take all that stuff with a grain of salt now, where in the beginning I used to get pretty frustrated by it, that people weren't listening, people weren't, pulling their proverbial heads out and getting a machine. And it always intrigues me where people, 7 machines all by themselves on a plane flight, it's just like, I don't know, it's a mind-boggling thing. But obviously people are doing it, and it would be really neat to actually be a fly on the wall, or, the little angel on their shoulder sitting there watching and listening to what they're saying and what they're, how they're actually managing to make that.
Well, I think what Cynthia does too is she emphasizes how good the water is going to make them feel. So what is the solution that people are looking for? So this guy with the arthritis or whatever, like, dude, like, are you going to continue to let it get it worse, or do you want some relief? Like, imagine, like, all that inflammation going down, like how much better you would feel. Like when you relate it back to, remember, emotion, feeling. And that's really, I mean, she's like, I don't go into the health. I don't go like this water. You're going to feel the difference. You will feel the difference. You're going to feel so much better. And she's so compelling, just emotionally. And I mean, we have to remember too, she's been in sales a long time. We get new people in this company. Like for me, like starting off, I had basically no sales experience whatsoever. I'm like you, I want to just help people. Like I just have a big heart, but I didn't realize that only 1% of people will close themselves. Only 1%. The rest need to be asked, and often multiple times. So, if you follow around somebody like Cynthia, she may say, so, are you ready to start drinking this life-changing water? So, are you ready, to buy the machine? Like there's soft closes, there's hard closes, but asking the question. So like my whole first year, I have people drinking the water, it's changing their lives. And I'm not asking them, so are you ready to do this? Instead, I'm like taking their excuse of I don't have the money, I don't have blah, 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 blah. But so we have to understand too, like we can be excited, we can be doing a lot of the right things. But if we have, this kind of goes back to my book, if we have money issues ourselves or success issues ourselves, or we don't feel like we deserve, I had a hard time in the beginning. These paychecks are so freaking big. I had a hard time taking the money. Or even like in my coaching, like I started off small with what I charged, but over time it was like, wait a second, I'm worth this. But I had to build up to that. And so people can get into the company, they've never made a lot of money, and they have a hard time receiving the money. Like they feel guilty. Like I just want to help this person, but I am kind of selling them something, and I kind of feel guilty about taking the money. And a lot of times we don't recognize that at a conscious level. It's a more subconscious type of level. And I don't know what percentage, I'm going to say it's really the majority of the population we have been programmed as a society that if you're wealthy, and especially if you come out of a spiritual background, a religious background, that money is the root of all evil. That's not what the Bible says. That's not what scripture says. It says the love of money, when money begins to control you. And so people are so scared, like I'm going to start making all these sales, all this money is going to start coming in. I'm going to turn into this awful, evil, greedy person. It's going to pull me away from God. It's going to tear my family apart. Again, this is not on the conscious level. This is deep down inside at the subconscious level, because we've been programmed this typically from childhood, from the conversations that we've heard from our parents, from family about money, or that there's never enough. Like, well, we can't do this because there's not enough. There's not enough. There's not enough. And that's what we've been heard. That's what we've been programmed. So then we go out and we're trying to do a business, but our programming is there's not enough. So that's what we convey to the people we're talking to. And that's what our mind is trying to maintain, that there's never enough. Where Cynthia just completely walks in abundance. I mean, she did whatever money she has. She's like, I don't hold on to it. Like, I just let it flow. Like, why am I going to hoard money? Like, that's scarcity. Like, let it, like, you have no idea, like, how much she gives, how much, they say you have to give to get. And so when I say like with my people, the more people you serve, the more money you're going to make. John Swartzstum said something really powerful. He said, when I was doing this for the money, I pushed people away. But when I'm doing this to serve and people feel my motivation is really to truly help them, people begin to respond differently, because people will sniff you out in no time if you're just there for the sale, and this, and I know that's not how you are, that you genuinely care for people from the depths of your heart. And that's always so conveyed. But it can start to be easy to just think about, oh my gosh, like I have to get another sale. Like I need this money, like, all this kind of stuff. And you convey that desperation, and they can smell that money breath on you, versus just the more people that I serve, the more that I'm blessed. That money is just a result of serving and helping more people. And then the more money I make, the more money that I can give, the more that I can be a blessing, and the more that I can give to my family. And we can take these vacations that we've wanted to do, and, this type of thing. And, it's just kind of this shift. But you have new people coming in. They've never been put in this kind of place. They have all this old mindset baggage. And there's a little bit of a learning curve. Like we've got to, not be so hard on ourselves, and understand, again, Cynthia's been doing this for a long time. And most of us have only been doing this 6 months, a year, maybe a couple years. It takes a doctor years and years to become an expert. It's got to go to school. It's got to practice. What do they say? The 10,000 hours to become an expert. And, give yourself a little bit of slack too, but understand, like it's up here. Like the biggest obstacle is usually us.
Yeah.
Because, and like, I love Grant Cardone. He says, we're always selling, always. Life, the best salespeople are children because they're so persistent. I mean, you know, when that kid wants that cookie, like, mommy, 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 you know, until they like try to wear you down. Well, that's sales. And so he says we're always selling, whether we're selling our kid on cleaning their room, whether we're selling our spouse on marrying us, but either we are selling our product or idea, or they are selling us their excuse. So like with my kids, you know, either I'm selling them that they need to keep their room clean, or I'm buying their excuse that, well, their room's not really that bad. Like, you know, maybe they don't have to do it today. Do you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So we have to make a conscious decision that in sales, we have to learn to direct the conversations, really. And it's all about, you know, and again, you know, I encourage people to get books like Sell or Be Sold. I mean, I think that's a really great foundational book to begin to understand that most people go into sales, and this was me, as the victim. Oh, I'm just the victim of this person. Like, if they really want it, like, they're going to come get it. But, you know, I sure hope like they'll see it. And, you know, versus me saying, I'm not the victim. Like, I'm going to control this conversation. They need this. Okay. Some people are so hard-headed. No, they're not going to see it in that moment. And you just keep going, especially your super analytical type. And maybe that could be who your friend is, where you have other personality types who will respond much faster. So you just have to keep going. And, you know, I mean, Cynthia will say, you know, I mean, she still has people say no to her, and she's like, I just keep going. And a no isn't necessarily a never. It just could be a not now, that they don't have enough information yet. And you just keep planting those seeds too in their life.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, that's one thing I love about your program here, that I haven't managed to get started into it like I wanted to. I ended up burying myself into Bob Wright's book instead
Oh, good.
at this point. But I really want to start getting into this. I think it's definitely a direction I need to go, and I need this kind of coaching that because I think all this stuff is stuff that resonates with my brain cell, but I need some direction in the right questions to ask myself. You know, because I've actually had some interesting things that have happened over the last month that, you know, one of the hardest things I've had with this kind of stuff is a lot of the programs that I've looked at, have been, you know, involved in these kinds of coaching programs. A lot of them have said, you know, write your own eulogy.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, that right there, that one simple thing has definitely turned out to be one of the most difficult things that I just, my mind is so far away from dying, whether, you know, that could happen today, that could happen tomorrow, you know, whatever. We don't know when it's going to happen. What we want to do is try and live the best we can live while we're here. And trying to write your own eulogy when dying is like the furthest thing from your mind, billions of miles away, you know, it's a hard thing to contemplate. And I've had some interesting experiences over the last month that have made me start to, you know, it's like all of a sudden I'm like, well, I can think of one thing that I'd really like to see in my eulogy. And I guess that's a start. That it's like, okay, well, here's number one thing that I would like people to remember about me. And, you know, for those who might be curious what that is the truth. I want to know what the truth is. And I want people to remember me as somebody who cared about the truth more than anything else in this world. Because in reality, that's where I'm really grounded at, is that I want the truth. I don't care
Yeah.
what I think or what anybody else thinks. It doesn't matter what we think. The truth is the truth is the truth is the truth.
Right.
And I, had an interesting situation where it brought the truth out about something and got lambasted for it. And it's like, hey, whatever. The truth is the truth. Sometimes it hurts. When it hurts, it hurts. I'm sorry. That's not my gig. The truth is the truth. And whether it hurts my feel bads or hurts yours or whoever's, sometimes that's the hard thing about the truth. Is sometimes it freaking hurts. But I think it's a huge blessing if you can face up to it and
Absolutely.
realize that you're dealing with truth. And so that's just one little aspect. And I hope that as I go through your program that I'm going to learn a lot more truth about me,
Mm,
because I need to face
absolutely.
up to my truth, and everybody out there listening to this needs to face up to their truth. But heck, how are you supposed to face up to your truth if you don't even know what it is?
Well, the book is, it's a journey of self-discovery because we are very multifaceted people. We don't know, it's like Martin Luther King says, you don't have to see the whole staircase, like just one step at a time. Like, we don't see our whole life. But I have a similar question in my book too. And it's, at your funeral, if you could only have three things said of you, what would you want to have said? And so it just helps people to think about in life, what is the most important thing? And often it's something about family, relationships, that type of thing. Two, it's something about a greater purpose, because it makes you kind of step out and go, like, what is my legacy? What is it that I want to leave behind? Because most people just sleepwalk through life. And that's what I did for a lot of years. Just every day, like we just let the days go by. We don't realize how precious life is, how precious every day and every moment is. And we're not living on purpose and with intention. And I did a Facebook Live about this yesterday, actually. And so these exercises, not that you have to have all the answers and not that they have to be perfect and not that they can't even change, but these type of exercises are just to get you thinking. And so in my book, I just say, look, get down what you can get down. Just start somewhere. Like, this is not written in stone, but just immediately. And sometimes we overthink things too. Like we get so like in that conscious brain where it's just like, let it come from the heart. Let it just come out of, what are the three greatest things that I want to be remembered for? So like for me, definitely, for me, I'm a very spiritual person. So one is always going to be spiritual aspect. Two is always going to be my relationships. Was I good, example, to my kids, my husband, they become before business and all of that. And then three really is serving, helping, that aspect. So that was kind of what I broke down. And in my book, like I go through different exercises that do kind of help you to begin to think about those type of things. But I encourage people, don't try to sit down and do the book all in one day. And that's what we try to do. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to knock this out. And like we totally overwhelm ourselves. I say, do one or two exercises a week. Just start somewhere, because you're starting to kind of unearth some things in you. And sometimes it's, you start on an exercise and you're like, like this eulogy. And it could be that, you're out taking a walk and you're just kind of in a relaxed state, maybe a week later, and it comes to you. Because we're complex beings. And so to, totally understand ourselves and our goals and our missions and our passions and all of this, just like that, doesn't always happen. And, my mission statement from 20 years ago was very different than my mission statement now. And we can have multiple mission statements. I have, a mission statement for me on a personal level, me on a business level. And so, understand like these are hard, challenging questions. And just the fact that you already have, I want to be known for truth. I mean, That's extremely powerful. I don't know how many people would say that. I mean, that is honestly an incredible answer. You know, like we want to remember, you know, JJ, he was a man after truth. I mean, that's a legacy right there.
You know, I've always said that truth is out there somewhere. And I'll tell you, one of the statements that has really resonated with me throughout my life, or not my whole life though, because my life changed at the age of 27. Up until the age of 27, I was a completely different human being.
Really?
And then I actually read a book called The Shadows of Power.
Interesting.
Council on Foreign Relations and the American Decline. When I finished reading that book, I was just flat out pissed off. I mean, that's really not the kind of book you really want to be reading, something that pisses you off. But the reason it pissed me off is because it was like this massive blast of truth. Documented truth, documented proof of everything it was saying. And after realizing that most every single thing I had learned up to that point in my life was a lie.
Wow.
And I was not happy about that. And so it was a really, really rude awakening that led me to the next book I read was this book right here, World Without Cancer. And this book right here, this book like changed everything. This is a huge part of the reason why I'm involved with the Magic, is because of that book. But I read that book 26 years ago.
Wow.
When I was 27 years old. And, you know, now I'm 53 years young and getting younger every year. And, you know, I'm one of the lucky people in this world. I get younger every year. I don't get older, I get younger. And people don't even really grasp that concept. They don't even think it's possible. But we happen to know that it is.
Absolutely.
But basically, that's what happened, Coach, is I just got blasted with truth. And what that led to was more and more and more and more and more and more truth after another for the next 25 years, 26 years. That was what it was all about. It was about the truth. And then I realized that truth was really starting to consume my life and not in a good way. And so what I've learned with the Magic and being part of the Kong family is that I've learned that I got to channel that truth in a better way that's not so negative. And that's really been a huge help to me over the last year or so. My life has really changed drastically as far as how I go about the truth. Because I've learned that there's some truth that you can do stuff about, and there's other truth that's just simply out of your hands. And for me, I was focusing on all this truth that I couldn't control, I couldn't do anything about. And that, I think, was a really big mistake and something that I've turned off and moved in a more of a direction where I'm now spreading truth that I have more control over. And that's, I think, has really helped my psyche. It's helped my relationship with my wife and my friends and people in general. And so that's been a big thing. And I really believe that this book of yours is going to be a tremendous help to me. And I'm looking forward to getting into it. And I really wanted to take a second for everybody. Just this book right here. This is the book, kids. Train Your Brain for Success by yours truly loving Coach Sharon Minard. She's AwesomSauce. And I really believe that this is the hidden agenda, if you will, that I've been really in need of. And, you know, for everybody out there, you can get the book through Amazon. I think it was maybe $35, something like that landed, whatever. I mean, that's people. I know this too, kids, that this
it's only $17.90. I have $17.95 right now.
What's that?
$17.95 right now.
$17.95. See, look at that, kids. This is an absolute
bargain.
$17.95. And the thing is I know the what's in this book right here that I got for $30 or whatever it was, that is absolutely nothing compared to what people are paying thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for what's in this book right here. And so that's even better. In fact, maybe, Coach, if you wouldn't mind, when we're done here today, you could pop onto the Kong family page and scroll down to this episode right here. It'll be pretty close to the top of the page.
Okay.
And throw in the link, will you, so where people can go and get it for that $17.95. You guys, that is a screaming deal. That's awesome right there. And I might have to go pick up some more of them and just start giving these to my people that jump on board with me in the Kong family that are interested in, improving their life in all of the different ways that we can help people improve their lives, because that's one thing that I'm just so passionate about with this company. And I know you are too, in that, our motto is change your water, change your life. And people don't understand just how true that is. It doesn't, our motto isn't change your water, change your job, change your water, change your house. No, that's not what it's about. It's about changing your life. And it really, I know it's changed your life. It's changed my life, and it continues to change lives. I got one of my oldest friends that's 74 years old. He's got one lung, one kidney. I believe he's had 4 heart surgeries.
Oh gosh.
He's on all kinds of different medications, and he finally broke down and bought himself a K8. And it's funny, he jokes with me. He says, if I'd have known it was only $5,000 to shut you up, I would have bought this thing 2 years ago. And I was like, yeah, well, you haven't shut me up, because it's just going to get worse now, because now you're on the team. Now you're part of the family. So you're just going to keep hearing it all the time. And the truth is, it's changing his life already. And he's only been drinking the water for a little over a month. And he told me, I'm not sharing this with anybody. I'm not talking to anybody about it. I'm not going to be in the sales thing. I'm like, yeah. Just, but hit that little button there that's just in case, right? And so now he actually called me last night and told me that one of our mutual dear friends, who I've been talking to about this for a couple of years, and he's not interested. Yeah, I'm happy for you, Jay. No. I just got a phone call from Steely last night saying that GK's ready to buy a machine. And
awesome.
So, because of what's happened for Steely, because in this short period of time, he called me up saying 118 over 80. I'm like, what? I wasn't in the thought process to put it together, but yeah, that was his blood pressure. And he said, I can't even remember in my life my blood pressure being that good.
Wow.
And so that's a huge thing right there. Yeah. And then, he's been using it to water his cactuses, and they're exploding all over the place. Like, wow, I can't believe what it's doing for my plants. And so anyway, his life is changing. Just like this is what happens. This is what happens when you jump on board the Kong train.
Right.
And get involved with the awesome people that are part of this company, and start learning the things that we get to learn. We're so blessed to have people like you, and people like Cynthia, and people like Dan and Tristan and Steve and John and Jerry, and just all of the incredible people that we are so blessed and so grateful to have in our lives now, because we made an investment. And we made an investment in ourselves, and you can never go wrong investing in yourself, right, Coach?
Absolutely, 100%. And I think you hit the head on the nail too. Is this is so much more than what people realize getting in. They don't realize how many levels their life is going to change, their health, how many levels it can change in the money side, but not just that, and them being able to impact other people's lives. And I love, like, Daniel DeMackle, he says, our company is basically like a self-development course with a compensation plan, and you can't help but become a better person through this. and through this journey, and you get to be a part of such an amazing global family. I mean, I feel like I've just made not just friends, but I feel like we're family. And it just to be a part of a movement that's so powerful and so life-changing. I mean, that's what lets you put your head on the pillow and go, I'm making a difference. I'm doing something. I'm part of something. I mean, 45-year-old company. I've been part of other companies that they got sued, they're lost their products, they've gotten shut down, they've changed ownership, everything changed, just where this is a 45-year solid company that is built on, Japanese is honor, integrity, respect. And, they've really just fostered a beautiful community, global community of people who, it says Enagic's mission is a mission of compassion. And that's really what it is. And, for me, like even people coming in the business, like, they see like the mind-blowing money side, but I'm like, you know what, if you're not out to help people, then don't come work with me. Because the money is just the result. The money's going to blow you away. But this is about serving and helping people and really changing the world. And I'm just so grateful and honored and like being on your show today and, just getting to connect with so many amazing people. And like even at these conferences, getting to meet so many like-minded people. Like that's who you want to surround yourself with, is the movers and the shakers and, the people that want to make a difference and have that higher vision. And that just blesses my heart and encourages me and motivates me just to keep going and do more and be better and help more lives and help more people.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah, Coach, that's just a perfect summation of what this thing's all about. People think that we're doing this for the money, and the truth is that's going to be a nice little additive, but it's definitely not the driving force. I know for me, it's not the driving force. My biggest driving force is my mom, who has been away from me now for 29 years.
Mm.
And, she passed away 29 years ago, and I still miss her like it was, when I get to thinking about it, it's like it was yesterday sometimes. And it still hurts. And what I want to try to do is I want to help people hopefully avoid that pain. And, it's, people will say to me, I've heard this 1,000 times, is, I don't want to live forever. I don't care. We're all going to die someday, and it's like, well, don't you want to be healthy? Don't you want to live while you're alive? Or do you want to be like my two sisters that just recently passed away, that literally for the last 5 years of their life, they were dying.
Wow.
On all kinds of medications. They were, hooked up to oxygen bottles. They were, that's not living.
No.
You might be alive, but are you really living? Do you want to live, or do you want to just be alive?
Right.
Personally, I want to live. I know a statement that I want to leave everybody with today comes from my hero, one of my heroes, and my nickname sake. Because a lot of people know that my nickname is Helen, because I'm both deaf and blind. And but I have a lot of fun with that. But Helen Keller, she made a statement that has resonated with me since the day I read that statement. And this is pretty much verbatim, maybe just a little bit off, but whatever, it's close enough. She said, "Security is mostly a superstition. It is not found in nature, nor do the children of men experience it as a whole. Avoiding danger in the long run is no safer than outright exposure. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing." When I read that statement, that thing just blasted me upside the head like a brick. And I vowed that forevermore, for the rest of my life, I would always be living an adventure. part of the reason why I do what I do with this. It's part of the reason why I love to go on river trips and go kayaking in Class 5 whitewater and just do adventurous things, because I want to live. I believe that life is either a daring adventure or it's nothing. If you're not living, you're just alive. And I want to live. And I want to help people learn to live. And that's why I'm so excited about this, Coach, and so in love with what you do, and so grateful that you're here with us, and that I got involved with this incredible company and was able to meet somebody of your stature and your wisdom and your love, because you truly love people. And so that's why you're trying to help them. And, and so I'm very grateful and very blessed that you're here with us. And I'm looking forward to when we meet again next month on the first Monday of the month. Hopefully we'll still be able to do that. I hope to be further into your program here and sharing some of the experiences of it. And I'd like to, as we meet each month, unless you have something else you'd like to share, I'd like to keep sharing your book and sharing what it's doing for me and encouraging people to get it, because I know this is going to help me. And I love what you said right at the very beginning. Take it step by step and just don't quit. Your brain is going to tell you got to quit, and your heart needs to tell you no. Keep going, keep fighting. And it reminds me so much of what has been told to me multiple times by people in this company that have found the success that they're looking for. Is the only way that you're not going to find the success that you're looking for is if you quit.
Right.
And what's that old saying? Winners never quit and quitters never win.
Right.
And that's where we have such a tremendous advantage, is that we have something incredible that as long as we just keep on going, keep on taking steps. Some days you might take big old giant steps, and other days you might just take little baby steps. But that's what I can see already that I'm going to get out of this, right out of the chute, is that encouragement to keep on keeping on. Even if some days you don't get done what you wanted to get done, that's all right. Tomorrow's another day. Keep on keeping on. Get back to where you stopped and continue on. And that's what I vow to do, Coach. I really appreciate everything that you're doing to help us, because as we always say around this joint, we are the Kong family, and we have this really simple goal. We just want to change the world.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there who think that's insanity, but no way. We know that it's reality, that it's happening. We're actually watching it happen day by day by day. And as our good buddy Sean Wetzel would say, we're doing it one glass of hydrogen-rich, oxygen-saturated, indubitably hydrating Tom's water, 9.5, and one lightning bolted clocks, one incredible guest, one awesome show, one amazing family, one incredible book at a time, kids. We got to always be learning. We got to always be striving to learn and learn the truth, because the old saying, the truth will set you free. I also add to that the truth is out there somewhere, and we should all be striving to find that truth.
Amen.
And probably more importantly, to strive to find our own truth. Because, there's truth that's, true or false, but there's also that personal inner truth that I think a lot of us have a hard time, including myself, have a hard time finding, have a hard time figuring out, what is my truth? And I hope that next month when we get together again, that I've found a little bit more of my truth, and I can talk about how you helped me bring that out. And so, God bless you, Coach. You're so awesome, and we are so blessed to have you here. And, I can't say enough thanks for just how grateful I am that you're willing to come in here once a month and talk and teach and just give out your wisdom to people no charge. It's a lot of people won't do something like this unless they're getting paid for it. And so, I think we are getting paid in a different way. We're getting paid in here, and sometimes getting paid here and getting paid here is way more important than getting paid in the checkbook or the bank account. And so I am just so blessed that you're here and that you come and jump in here with us, and just for everything you do, all the great stuff that you're always sharing out. And I just want you to know I love you and I appreciate everything
Aw.
you do. And hopefully we'll get to see you down in Vegas. I know we're going in October. We're going to Vegas. I don't know if you're going to be there or not, but I hope you will be. Hope to get to see you. And, thank you. I got to tell you, on the live side, the loves and the likes and the
Aw.
faces and everything are just flying across the screen.
Everybody, thanks for listening. And yeah, and I think, just to touch on what you said, you have to give to get, and if we can just walk in this just giving mode, just letting it flow, and, whatever seeds we're sowing, that there's always going to be a harvest, and that harvest can, surface in all kinds of different levels. And, it's easy to want to like hoard everything for ourselves, and, oh, well, I don't want to teach other people. I just want to teach my team, all this kind of stuff. But we got to give to get,
Yeah.
and just be a blessing, because otherwise, like, if we're holding back, then we're not helping people, and that's scarcity and that's fear too. And again, I think that goes back to like what Cynthia walks in, is just let it flow. I mean, she has people, not even our team, come and stay at her house and she trains them. Other companies, you don't hear people doing that, and it just let it flow. I mean, I think if one thing you're left with today is just let the giving just flow, and you walk in just that higher peace and that higher purpose as well. And I'm really excited to hear what happens with the book. And like I said, just do what you can. And even if it's, you just get through a couple of exercises, just start somewhere. But it's all about waking the brain up, waking the subconscious, waking the conscious brain up, so that you can begin to bring change. And, I go through the book, still every so often, and I'm like, holy crap, like I started at this level, and the next time I'm at this level, and the next time at this level. So I'm like, wow, I'm seeing things that I couldn't see before, because down here, I couldn't see it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So to remember, like, we are an ongoing process. We're a work in progress. And we don't jump from here to here overnight. And to be patient with ourselves and to give ourselves time. And if we don't have all the answers, that's okay. But the answers will come, and they'll come in due time. If we just keep going, like you're saying, don't give up, just keep going day by day, living on purpose. And I so appreciate you having me on the show. Thank you for the time. Thank you for those that are listening, and blessings to you.
Yeah. Well, in my case, I only have one brain cell, so I really need to wake it up.
Gosh, oh boy.
But Coach, once again, I love you so much.
Self-talk.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for everything you do. We love you, and we appreciate everything you're doing. And everybody out there, this is something that you can do, you can utilize, and Coach has made it so incredibly affordable to get the kind of coaching that you need. And so I highly recommend that you get on top of this book and start utilizing it. I can already tell just from the very little bit that I've started into that it's going to be magnificent, that it's going to make a huge difference in my life. And if it'll make a difference in my life, it'll make a difference in yours too. So you just got to make the jump, give it a shot, and get after it. Take those steps. Keep on taking good steps towards where you want to be every single day. Get out there and share the love. And as we love to say, get out there and change the world, starting with your own. And where it all starts with, kids, is do not forget your hugs. You got to give yourself a hug every day, a big HooDeeHoooo. So, Coach, thank you once again. Have yourself an awesome week. I know you will. And just God bless you and yours. And And we'll see you next month, if not sooner.
Awesome. Thank you again. Thank you everybody for watching. Appreciate it.
Love you. HooDeeHoooo.
Love to everybody.
Bye for now.
Bye.